Jane Austen, the name of one of England's most notable female writers, whose novels such as Pride and Prejudice, Northanger Abbey, Sense and Sensibility, and Emma have adorned the world over. 2017 marks 200 years since Jane Austen's death. Her legacy still remains in English history as a woman who fought against the constraints of literature and showed women that we can be our own heroes.
She has been a very influential author almost for the whole 200 years. Of course, she wasn't that well known during her lifetime, and it's only because her stories have maybe become popular because they deal with life and death and love and money.
Mike, I'm the musical director of the Madding Crowd, so I have to prepare all the music for the group and arrange it. Today, I think the relationship stories that she wrote are really everybody's common experience.
The late 18th and early 19th century life, it still has a resonance for people now, and particularly for women, I think, though there are plenty of men who read her.
My name is Mary Guyot and I'm the curator here at Jane Austen's house. The house was established as a museum in the late 1940s because it was the home of Jane Austen for the last 8 years of her life, and more than that, it was the place where she wrote and revised her 6 novels. So very important, well, the most important place in the history of Jane Austen's life.
Now, what would you say the impact that Jane Austen had on women's literature?
Well, she was writing at a time when to be a female author was still quite a controversial thing. So she wrote anonymously at first. I think it was a wonderful day back in 2013 when there was an announcement that Jane Austen would be on this £10 note, and a fabulous moment this year when we first saw these £10 and now they're in wide circulation, and it's very special to go to the bank or go to the supermarket and be handed something with Jane's face on it. Millions and millions of notes produced.
What would you say the impact that Jane Austen has had on you?
Oh, that's a difficult question. I think it is recognising she enduring those characters. She had the insight and the ear of a brilliant author. Not only did she have such a craft of her words, but she listened to dialogue, and you can see in her characters people that you can recognise your aunt or your neighbour or that awful person from a few years ago. So it's that wonderful recognition of human types, and I think that's what, for me, that's what makes her writing so vivid and so relevant today.
Jane and Cassandra left their lodgings at Chawton to move to Winchester. Jane became weaker by the day, and on July 18th, 1817, she died in the room just above me in the arms of her beloved sister, Cassandra. Cassandra wrote with grief, "I watched the little mournful procession the length of the street, and when it turned from my sight, I had lost her forever." Jane Austen was buried here 8 days later at Winchester Cathedral. Her grave mentions the benevolence of her heart, the sweetness of her temperament, and the extraordinary endowments of her mind. These are the closest words that we have today to mentioning her novels.